You know that moment, that sheer gut-wrenching panic. You slam the door shut, you hear that unmistakable click,
Oh, yeah.
and you realize your keys, your entire connection to the inside world, are sitting right there on the kitchen counter. It's 11 p.m., you're standing in the dark, and suddenly you are completely vulnerable.
That vulnerability is exactly it. It defines the emergency locksmith industry, and sadly, it's what scammers are expert at exploiting. When you're that desperate, logic just goes right out the window.
It does. You grab your phone, you search locksmith near me, and you just call the first name that pops up.
And that's a dangerous game, especially in a massive metro area like Los Angeles, where the competition is it's fierce, and the industry is so fragmented.
Exactly. So our mission today is to give you the ultimate shortcut, the knowledge you need. We're diving deep into the emergency locksmith industry, focusing on what you need to know right now to handle that crisis wisely.
We're going to unpack the critical intelligence. What are the real expected costs? How do you vet a professional, like super fast, and avoid the immediate red flags of a scammer?
And we'll even get into the stories of the people themselves, the professionals who transition into this high stakes and pretty rewarding trade.
It's a fascinating world.
Before we jump into those scam red flags, we want to start with a recommendation you can trust immediately, if you're locked out in LA. This deep dive is sponsored by LA City Locksmith.
A great choice.
They offer 247 trusted residential, commercial, and automotive locksmith services. So if you're in Los Angeles and need immediate professional help, they specialize in emergency locksmith services and are really known for their 5-star reviews and reliability. That number is 323-955-2411. Probably a good one to save.
Definitely.
Okay, let's unpack this. You are standing outside your house, maybe it's late, maybe you have kids or groceries, and you need someone now. How do you, in that moment of crisis, distinguish between a trusted pro and a fraudster?
Well, the single most critical preparation is actually doing your homework before you need them.
Right, but who does that?
Exactly, almost no one. So if you're already locked out, you have to understand the scammer's playbook. Their main tool is this deceptive online lead generation. It all leads to the classic bait and switch.
Let's talk about that bait. I see an ad that says, locksmith service for $50 and up. I might think, that's cheap. It's worth the risk, right? I just need a simple door opened.
That phrase, $50 and up, is the first major red flag. It's the bait. The truth is, that price, it rarely covers anything beyond the technician just showing up and looking at your lock.
So they get there, and then what?
Then the complexity suddenly escalates. The lock is high security or it requires special tools, and the price suddenly jumps to like $300 or $400. And you're in a tough spot because you've already waited an hour and you feel this pressure to just agree.
And the sources show that these lowball prices, they're often part of a much bigger non-local operation.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They create dozens of fake websites, they run ads, they buy listings and directories, all designed to confuse you. They'll use fictitious addresses, P.O. boxes, or even worse.
That's worse.
They'll steal the names, license numbers, and even generic photos of legitimate locksmiths to make themselves look like a local shop. But when you call that local number, it's often routed to a national call center miles and miles away.
How can you spot that you're talking to a call center?
They're vague. They're vague about the company name. They can't confirm a physical local address, and they just quote that low entry price without asking any real questions about your lock. They're just booking a job to sense the cheapest operator they can find.
Speaking of skill, or lack of it, the most damaging red flag you mentioned is their solution, the immediate push to just drill the lock. Why is that so crucial for a consumer to recognize?
Because a true professional, a master locksmith, sees the lock as a precise mechanical puzzle. Their skill is rooted in non-destructive entry.
Right. It's a craft.
It is. They exploit the tiny mechanical defects within the lock mechanism. That's what lockpicking actually is. A skilled pro can often open most standard locks in under 30 seconds. And critically, without causing any damage at all.
So if the first thing the person arriving at my door says is, this is too complex, I have to drill, what does that really tell me?
It tells you they lack the training, or the patience,
Yeah.
or the right tools. Drilling is just brute force. It destroys the hardware, which forces you to purchase an expensive replacement lock they just so happen to have on hand.
It should be the absolute last resort.
The last resort. A professional will explain why it's necessary if they've exhausted all other options, but it should never, ever be the first thing they suggest.
That distinction skill versus brute force is so important, and this ties directly back into licensing, especially here in Los Angeles.
It does. You should be demanding to see both the company license and the individual technician's license. While only, a dozen states require it, California is one of them, and that is a massive protection for you, the consumer.
Because they've been vetted.
They've been vetted. Applicants have to pass criminal history background checks. That establishes a baseline of integrity that an unregulated scammer just won't have. So if you're in LA, you have the right to ask for that documentation. Don't be shy about it.
Okay, let's transition to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Money. We've avoided the bait and switch. We've found a legit licensed service. What are the actual price points we should expect?
Locksmith costs are highly variable. They can range from maybe $50 up to $400, depending on the complexity, the time of day, and where you are. Legitimate locksmiths generally charge per hour around $50 to $75, or a flat fee that includes a transparent trip fee.
Give us some concrete numbers for a standard home lockout late at night.
For a standard home lockout, not a high security system, you should expect to pay between $50 and $180. That includes the trip fee. But that after hours or 3 a.m. emergency call will have a significant extra fee. It could easily double the cost.
And what about other common jobs like rekeying?
Rekeying is usually around $70 to $160. Key duplication is cheap, like $10 to $25. And for an automotive lockout, you're probably looking at $60 to $150.
I hear that automotive locksmithing is really where the industry is changing. It's not just a coat hanger anymore.
Not at all. It is significantly more complex and, because of that, much more profitable. Modern cars use transponder chip keys, fobs, complex electronic programming.
Yeah.
It requires some very sophisticated, very expensive diagnostic tools.
But that's where you see these all keys lost jobs, right? Or AKL.
Exactly. An AKL job means the customer has 0 keys. The locksmith has to cut a new mechanical key and program a new transponder chip to the car's computer. A standard lockout might be $100. An AKL job can easily earn the tech up to $300. It's a huge profit center.
Okay, here's a really interesting question. If a lock is old, but it's still working, should you rekey it or just replace the whole thing?
It is almost always cheaper and often better to rekey your existing lock as long as the hardware itself is in good shape.
So what's the actual process of rekeying?
The locksmith removes the cylinder, changes the pin configuration inside, and then gives you new keys that match. You're only paying for the labor, and a basic lock can sometimes be rekeyed in, 15 minutes.
So I've just moved into a new place. Rekeying is 100% the smarter choice.
It is, unless the lock is visibly broken or super low security. Replacing the lock means you're paying for new hardware plus the labor to install it. That adds up fast. Rekeying is the smart, non-destructive choice.
And that level of transparency, prioritizing the cheaper, safer option for you, is what you should demand. If you're looking for that kind of trusted service in the Los Angeles area, remember our sponsor, LA City Locksmith. They're available 24/7, and they have those 5-star reviews to back up their reputation. Learning about the industry structure gives us confidence, but let's talk about the people. The person showing up in a van at 3 a.m., what kind of professional is that? What's their background?
There is really no single path into this trade, which is part of what makes it so fascinating. We see people transitioning from wildly diverse careers.
Like what?
Well, we've heard stories of an exterminator who retrained, an assistant manager from a big box store who was put through locksmith school. It's really about a certain mindset.
A problem solver mentality.
It's a total problem solver and troubleshooting mentality. You have to see the lock as a physical puzzle that needs solving under pressure. We're also seeing a noticeable trend of professionals coming from IT or information security.
That makes a lot of sense, the overlap between digital and physical security.
It's huge. They both deal with access control and vulnerability management. An IT pro secures a network. A locksmith secures a physical perimeter. Both roles require that kind of critical thinking and precision.
And the reward for solving that puzzle, for getting someone back into their home, must be pretty significant.
It is incredibly rewarding. I mean, you are genuinely helping people in their most vulnerable moments. The feeling of leaving a positive impression, especially when the customer was maybe expecting a scammer, that's huge.
But doing that 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
answering those desperate 3 a.m. calls, that has to lead to tremendous burnout.
It does. Mobile locksmiths who cover constant emergency calls, they report really high burnout rates. The calls just never stop. We hear from veteran techs that they learn the hard way. After the first few years, they start scaling back on the overnight response.
So what's the advice for longevity? How do you stay in the trade?
Setting hard boundaries. That's what the experienced pros stress. You have to realize that missing one 2 a.m. call won't cause your business to collapse. The calls will still be there tomorrow. Learning to prioritize rest is essential.
And that challenge, managing exhaustion while still providing great service, is why some businesses have adopted different pay models. Right.
Yeah, performance-based pay models. It's a really interesting shift.
Tell us how that works. How does linking pay to performance change things?
It aligns the incentives. Instead of just rushing through a job to get to the next call, the model encourages technicians to slow down, build trust, and offer real options.
So they might check your other locks, for example.
Exactly. A technician might check all the customer's locks for free, maybe suggest higher security replacements if the existing hardware is weak, or offer to rekey other doors while they're there. It shifts the focus from just speed to quality of service.
And it sounds like there's a serious financial upside.
A massive one. The sources show this model has incredible earning potential. This performance-based structure has led some top technicians to achieve over $500,000 in gross revenue in a single year. It just highlights what's possible when skill and customer-first service align.
This deep dive has really shown that preparedness is your most valuable tool. Just knowing the red flags of a scammer, especially that immediate push to drill, and understanding the professionalism behind non-destructive entry, that knowledge is invaluable.
Absolutely. And remember, choosing a locksmith isn't about the lowest advertised price. It's about choosing a licensed professional service that operates with transparency and integrity, especially when you're in a tough spot in a place like Los Angeles, where those licensing requirements are there specifically to protect you.
So if you do need reliable, professional emergency locksmith service in LA, you know who to call. Reach out to our trusted sponsor, LA City Locksmiths. They provide 24/7 residential, commercial, and automotive services. They're rated for their outstanding service, so look for those 5-star reviews. Again, that's LA City Locksmith. Phone 323-955-2411.
And here's a provocative thought to leave you with. Given how many scams use these deceptive online listings, fake reviews, fake addresses, all of it, what non-digital local methods beyond just word of mouth could customers use today to reliably vet a trustworthy locksmith before an emergency ever happens?
Something to think about. Stay safe out there.